Alright, today in this video I am going to explain how we can create this beautiful audio visualizer using the geometry node, and you will also learn how we can connect our audio with this audio visualizer using the geometry node. So how we can create this beautiful audio visualizer animation. Now let's jump into the video. Alright, here I open the Blender and enter into the geometry node workspace, and here hit the new button to create a new node tree, and here I select the group input and delete, and search for the mesh line and connect with the group output, and here we have a mesh line in our 3D viewport. Now I want to rotate this mesh line along the y-axis. So for that, here I search for the transform geometry node and connect this between the mesh line and group output, and here I change this x-axis to rotate this exactly 90-degree along the y-axis. So now we have this. Now I want to add some bars of cube along the z-axis. So for that, here I search for the node instance on point, and also a cube, and put this cube into the instance. Now we have 10 number of cubes due to this count 10 in the mesh line. Now I want to change the size of this cube and the number of this cube which look like a visualizer. So for that, here I increase this number of count up to 200, and now we have 200 number of this cube. Press 3 to view the right orthographic view, and here I change the size of this cube. First I decrease this number, something like I think 0.07 is looking nice, and also scale this number along z-axis to scale these bars along z-axis, something like that. Now I want to decrease the distance between these cubes. So for that, here I change this z offset value in the mesh line. So for that, we decrease this value to decrease the distance between these cubes. I think 0.09 is better. Now I want to move whole of this structure in the middle of the 3D cursor. So for that, in transform geometry, here I move this y value and put it here. Now we have that kind of structure. Now I want to animate these bars. So for that, we scale this value. Here I search for the combine x, y, z. So we can individually treat these axes and put this into the scale. And here I put the number 1 because by default it is 0. And now here I search for the noise texture and put it here, and put the factor into the z value. Now we have this, and here I change this noise texture to 4D, so we can use this w value to animate this, and here I scale this to the 0, sorry, detail this to the 0, and scale this to find some suitable adjustment. I think this is looking nice. So by using this w value, we can animate this audio visualizer. Now I want to add our audio to link with this audio visualizer to animate this. So for that, select this, and also select this noise texture and hover this w value and press I to insert the keyframe. Now I want to go to the graph editor where I add our sound clip to animate this. So here I open the graph editor, move this up and also move this up. And here you can see our geometry node keyframe is already added. So here in the channel section, here I select this sound to sample, and our audio is on my desktop, and here I select this audio, and here you can see our audio is imported into the Blender. Now if I hit the spacebar, and here you can see our audio is perfectly connected with our visualizer through the geometry node. And if you want to hear your sound in Blender, then you go to this plus icon, and here in video editing, you select this video editing workspace, and here in add strip, I add our sound, which I already imported, and now we have this. Move this into the first keyframe so you can hear. Now we have this. Now back to the geometry node workspace, and here you can see our sound is reacting with our audio visualizer. And here I do some adjustment in modifier, and here I add a envelope modifier to change this waveform of this audio, and hit add control point, and here I change this value to increase the amplitude of this wave, something like this. Now it's looking perfectly. Now I go to this layout workspace, and here I set our camera and do some composition. Press 3 for the right orthographic view, and here I search for the camera and place it here, and Control Alt Z to focus this. And here in the camera, I choose this from perspective to the orthographic, and also decrease this value, increase this value to adjust our scene, something like this. Beautiful. Now we enter into the material workspace. Sorry, first we add the material in geometry node workspace. So for that, here I search for the set material node and put it here, and here I create a new material and pick this material in the geometry node set material node, and now into the material panel, and here you can see, and into the camera view. So here I delete this principal BSDF, and here I search for the emission node and connect it with the surface, and here we enter into the rendered view, and here I choose EV for this project, and also here I turn off this transparent background, and here in world section I disconnect my HDRI, and here I add this and decrease this value. Now we have totally black background in our scene. Here I increase the strength up to 4. You cannot directly see. So for that, here I rendered just one frame and enter into the composition workspace and hit this use node button, and here I search for the node which is glare and put it here, and now you can see. But I don't want this streaks. Here I change this to the bloom and decrease this strength, something like that. Now we have this. Now back to the layout and also into the rendered view, and you can see the composition directly rendered view. Turn on this always, and here you can see. Now if I hit the play button, then you can see our audio visualizer is completely reacting with our sound. So that is the tutorial. In this way, you can easily link your sound to the audio visualizers with the geometry nodes. Thanks for watching.